For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be just like my father. He was strong and handsome, well-known, respected and feared. He spoke in a voice that sounded like stained oak. Oh my God, he was brave. Was he brave? So when the time came, the decision was easy, natural, to fight side by side with him. It was as if a dream had come true. It was all I'd imagined since I was a child at summer camp. Summer camp. That's what they called it anyway, but in retrospect, it wasn't so much a camp as it's a breeding ground for the next generation of Aryan foot soldiers. Boys who became men, who became sacrificial lambs on the pyre of racial purity. I can barely stand to think of it. It was there that they taught me to ravage the bones of the wicked, to leave no prisoners, to kill anyone who crossed my unlucky path. They said to drive into their flesh with knives, riddle their bodies with bullets, and fill their pores with poison. They echoed, demoralize the enemy from within, by surprise, by terror, by sabotage, by assassination. And it resounded like an ominous bellow ringing through our then impoverished countryside. They were unfit to share with us a society and a country and a continent. They had taken our jobs, they had taken our money. They would end us, eventually end us, our people, our heritage, a way of life we naturally came to hold very dear. And thus, the summer of my 13th year began. One blue August morning, before the sun became blisteringly hot, my father shipped us, myself and my brother, off to summer camp. And though the war had already begun to rape our nation, we felt safe and comfortable, nestled away in the little idyllic Bavarian countryside. Girls were hiking and singing Die Fahne Hoch while they were playing in the fields and the sun was dancing on their fair skin. A whole other camp, full of Germany's finest young men, they were preparing diligently to annihilate an entire race of human beings. The men, as they like to call us, playing games. Kill them before they kill you games. Vanquish your foes games. Serve your country or die games. All cleverly masked in the shroud of caps as a flag. Some of us, the lucky ones, were chosen early on as leaders, and put into schools and taught to command attention and respect. And apparently I was lucky I was chosen as a leader from early on. I showed promise, unflinching discipline and unquestioned obedience. And more than that, much more than that, they knew my father and they were happy to let me be just like him. If I had known what was to come, what was to become of my blood-soaked childhood, maybe I wouldn't have been so eager to be such a studious people. As Germany began to lose ground, as they began to lose soldiers to Allied forces, in an effort to stave off impending conquer, they decided to allow these young men to fight. Children. Children, shoulder to shoulder, and arm to arm, and hand to hand with men twice, 3 times their ages. Fragments of prepubescent bodies strewn across the battlefields to what seemed like the end of the horizon. And I survived the battle and stood amongst the wreckage, weeping. It was a country I had lost, for my friends who now lay beside me in unrecognizable pieces. stood like a lone pillar in a demolished temple. Later, when I was rescued, I was told the war was over, and we had lost. They sent me to my father's barracks not long after, and we drank a cup of tea, and we discussed going home. He told me he was sending me ahead so that he had some business to attend to before he'd be able to leave. Then he sent me away. He sent me away down a long hallway to where a car would meet me. And then I heard a lone gunshot. It rang with the cries of the people I'd killed. It exploded with the anguish of my friends who had died in vain. Punctuated at the end of my adolescence forever. My father was dead. I alone was left to bear the burden of a hate which blackened my very soul.